It's Barry and Eric again. Welcome back for this week's Gun Facts. We're just going to kind of do some random things today out of the old man's vault up here. Little facts maybe a lot of y'all don't know, and it's a lot of helpful little things. Now, one thing about these 410 45 caliber revolvers, we're having a problem with both the Taurus Judge and the Smith & Wesson Governor, the same problem. What happens, certain shot shells in this gun will swell when you shoot them, and it locks the cylinder up. And not only that, you can't get them out. They're stuck. You have to knock them out one by one. Here's an example. These shells are Winchester, American-made shell. They're 3-inch, number 6 shot. These ejected perfectly in this Judge. Ejected perfectly. These foreign-made shells, the Fiocchi rounds, 2.5 inch shell, number 7.5. I had to pound these out one at a time.
Show us the bulge.
There's a slight bulge here where the head's just swelled, and what it does, it goes against the recoil shield and it locks the gun up where you can't shoot it. Okay. I tried to call Taurus. I told them about this problem a year ago, and they denied that there was a problem. So I called them again. And after I listened to this incredibly loud hillbilly hoedown music for 15 minutes, I hung up, waiting on them to come to the phone. So I never got in touch with Taurus. I did call Smith & Wesson, and we fired these in that gun, the Fiocchis, and look, they swell to hell and back. But the reason for this is this gun uses moon clips, and the gap is a lot bigger here. So it gives the head more room to swell here, and it pushes against the recoil. So this gun locked up totally with 3 rounds. Couldn't even open it hardly. Now, I talked to a young woman at Smith & Wesson, and she said this is an American-made gun. If you shoot American-made shells in this gun, they'll eject. So I put 2 Federal, 2 Remington, 2 Federal, 2 Remington, and 2 Winchester shells in here. I shot it out back. I haven't even tried to open it. Let's see if she says it's right. Works good. Now those work good. You got 2 Remington, 2 Winchester, 2 Federal shells.
Looks good.
They work good.
One thing I like about the Governor is it's a 6 shot.
Right, and it also takes 45 ACP shells in a moon clip, so you can shoot those, throw them in there one time. But the girl was right. If you have a Judge or you have a Smith & Wesson, use American-made brand shells. These shells here, Fiocchi, they're probably thin, real thin brass, and it lets them balloon out like that. So stick with your American-made shells, and you probably won't have any problem. Now, here's another little thing people need to know. These Smith & Wesson Chief Specials were introduced in 1950. The sights have never been changed. If you got a Chief Special from 1950, the sights are identical. This gun is regulated for a 158 grain bullet. If you fire this gun with lighter weight shells in it, at 7 yards, you're going to hit low, about 6 inches low. So you have to keep that in mind. These guns are still regulated for the 158 grain bullet. Now, when you fire a Derringer, especially one powerful like this Bond 45 410, the top barrel will always hit way higher than the bottom barrel. Well, they say, well, yeah, the barrel's on the bottom and the top, but no. You're going to get a lot of dispersion. When this gun is in your hand, the bottom barrel is recoiling straight into your arm. When you fire the top barrel, people don't believe this, but watch slow motion guns on the internet, they start to recoil before the bullet leaves the barrel. So the more powerful gun you have, the more dispersion you're going to get on your target. Now they used to make this in a 44 Magnum, and the dispersion on that was incredible. They quit doing that because a man had one double on him. He fired the bottom barrel of his 44, and inertia fired the top barrel. I know this is true because I called Bond, and the man that I talked to said it happened to me. I'm one of the test firers here at Bond. So in order to eliminate the problem, they just quit making it in 44 Magnum. But we used to have these in 44 Magnum. And by the way, you can drop a 454 in here and it will fire. But I don't advise that you do that. That's another little thing you need to know. I had a guy call me one day all day long. He said, look, I've been looking for 25.5 speed loaders for my 45 Smith. Nobody has them. Well, the 29 speed loader is identical to it. So if you got a 25.5 45, and you can't find one marked 25.5, you just get one marked 29. It works just fine. I've mic'd them, they're identical. Now this fits all of these, the 29, Ruger Alaskan, Ruger Red Hawk, Ruger Super Red Hawk. I don't know why they don't tell you that you can use it for your 25.5 as well, but they don't. So if you ever need a 25.5 and you find a 29 speed load, just go with it. Here's another thing people get confused. A guy come in looking for 357 SIG Glock magazines. Well, I said the 40 caliber is the same magazine. He didn't believe it. He wanted one marked 357. He didn't believe that he could use this mag in that gun and this mag in that gun. But you can. Other manufacturers, like Smith, they've got the mag marked for both of them. You can use the same magazine in a 357 SIG that you use in the same model gun in a 40 caliber. Maybe you're wondering about this flag behind me. It's called the Flag of Honor. This came out the 10th anniversary of 9/11. This has every name of every victim of the 9/11 attacks in the towers, the Pentagon, and the planes. This was, I bought this at Lowe's for $8. They only had like one or two of them left. It's a limited edition. But what's neat about this, the Flag of Honor includes the names of everyone who perished as a result of 9/11. A portion of the proceeds of the sale of this flag goes to several charities, including the Voices of 9/11, the National 9/11 Museum at Ground Zero, the Flag of Honor Fund, and the Wounded Warrior Project. You cannot do any more American, and this is made in America. This is as American as it gets right here, and people need to remember these names. There's over 3,000 on this flag.
That's right, and people coming soon. We'll announce when we're ready to do it. But me and Ray are going to build a custom Sega 12, and we're going to donate all the proceeds from the sale. We're going to auction it off on Gunbroker, and all the proceeds are going to go to Wounded Warriors.
Wonderful. I think that's great.
All right. Well, we'll be joining y'all next week in another Firearms Fact.
All righty. We'll see y'all next week.